Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how I set up my steering on my XB220 with my MKS 599 SL servo. So first thing I'm going to do is pick a model for the car, and then I'm going to go make sure my sub trim is at 0. And then I'll work on the trim on the wheel, put that, make sure it's at 0. And then go to my dual rate and make sure it's at 100. I also start with my EPAs down, so when you try to turn the wheel to get the steering set up, it doesn't wreck anything, so I start with them at 60. And then I'll turn the car on. And I have my servo loose and my servo horn off. So with the XB2, depending on what size or what length servo horn you run, that depends on how the servo horn goes on, but I have mine just tilted off to the left a little bit. And that'll be as close to straight as possible. You obviously have to trim it up a little bit. I'll put my servo horn on, and then when I tighten my servo horn down, I'll turn the car back off so it doesn't put stress on the servo. So I'll turn that back on, put my servo in. Okay, so now I got my servo in. Now I'm going to take the car and put it directly in front of me so I can see the belt cranks and everything, make sure it's straight, and then I'll trim the servo up like that. Also, I'll check, make sure the steering is going the right direction, because some servos are different, so just make sure you're going the right direction before you set all that, because sometimes it makes a pretty big difference. So I'm setting the trim to center the belt cranks. If the belt cranks are centered, your wheels are obviously going to be centered if you put your trim buckles this right length. So that way you don't have to get your gauge out right away and get it all zeroed up. You can kind of just set the servo looking dead center through this car. There's usually, like for the XB2 anyway, there's a spline going down the bulkhead that I can kind of reference off the belt cranks. So once I have my sub trim set, I'll go and do my steering EPAs. So I'll have that going, and then I can turn the wheel and then look, and I'll increase the EPAs until the caster or the steering block hits the caster block. So you can kind of tell, you can hear the servo is not stressed now, but if you increase it too much you can hear it humming. So I'll go till it doesn't hum, and just where you see it touches, and there should be a little bit of play in each side. You don't want to overset your servos because it's going to put stress in your servo, and it's going to make the servo speed faster and harder to drive. That's not the biggest issue, but it's going to just in general not be good. So you want to make sure your EPAs are set properly. I always do mine with the tires off, so there's no drag on the ground with the EPA setting. This gets the truest way to set your EPA, I think. So once I have that set, I'll go, and then you should have your links set right, because that obviously depends on how far the steering throws. But that's just how I set my servos, and thanks for watching.